What's up, y'all? I'm back out here on the range again on yet another cold, sunny day. The temperature's actually just clicked above freezing right now, so not nearly as bad as the teens and 20s as I had the last couple times out here. It's supposed to reach, I believe, the high 40s out here today, so pretty much summertime weather compared to the last couple outings. It's actually supposed to cloud up according to the weather about midday, and the wind's supposed to pick up a little bit, so hopefully I'll be done by the time all that happens. I do have a few really interesting tests planned for today. We're going to start it out with a little bit of 380. So of course we got the jelly contraption set up ready to go with a couple of chronos and 2 fresh blocks of gel. This is the first test of the day here, so you get a really nice clear picture of what happens with this one. I'm using a heavy clothing barrier as always that has the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one is definitely a well-known brand. We got the Speer Gold Dot in 380 ACP. Believe it or not, I guess I'd never have tested these. I thought I had, but I think it was back during the time I was testing that 30 Super Carry. I actually looked for some to compare with that and just couldn't find any in stock at the time. Y'all know that was back during the whole ammo thing. So, and I guess I just totally forgot about it. But anyway, I picked up a couple boxes and we're going to see what it does. So we got the Speer Gold Dot here, obviously the bonded Gold Dot. It's a 90 grain projectile. Now the ballistics on this, they're saying 1040 at the muzzle, but that's through a 3.75 inch barrel. So 1040, I mean, even if it hits that, that's, you know, that's a little soft, but we are talking about 380 here, so we'll see what it does. There's a look at your cartridge, nice nickel plated case with that really nice Gold Dot projectile. The sad thing is, I guess I'm trying to predict the future here, maybe I'll be wrong, but sadly most of the Speer loaded Gold Dot rounds just are always loaded soft. I don't understand why they do that, but y'all know in the past when we've tested actually Speer loaded Gold Dots, they fall really short of anybody else who loads up Gold Dots. But maybe we'll see something different this time. I've got a couple of different test barrel lengths to use out here. We've got a shorty with the Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. That's got a 2 3/4 inch barrel. And then this Smith Wesson M&P Performance Center EZ, this has got technically a 3.8 inch barrel, but that's including your little ported little stub there. So 3.8, this ballistics is saying 3.75. So that's basically exactly what this is made for, or what this tested from. So we should see that 1040 from this EZ anyway. So hopefully we'll see some good stuff here. Gold Dot usually does well, but we've seen it fall short a couple of times. As a matter of fact, just recently, the standard pressure 9mm really didn't do all that great. So we'll see what happens here with these. Let me get it all set up and see what they can do. All right, these clouds are starting to stack up on me already over here, which is definitely not what I wanted to see. It's amazing how it changes the temperature. I bet it dropped, it feels like it dropped 5 degrees almost instantly once that sun got blocked. So hopefully it'll clear out a little bit, but let's get some numbers on this stuff now. Remember, this stuff was saying 1040 from a 3.75 inch. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from both of these. We'll start with the longer barrel first, the 3.8 inch. Now you're gonna see multiple velocity readings out this lab radar. The large number is right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. Those right there are set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got the others set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. So 1040 is what we're looking for right here. I mean, this is the barrel length, so we should see that if they're up to snuff. I'm just doubting it. 1033, 1016, 999, 1043, and 1051. So these things hit it on about 2 or 3 of them, but they were all over the place, seems like. Let's check out the average. All right, that spread wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was. We had a 5-round average right there of 1028 feet per second. Our extreme spread was 52 with a 21.0 standard deviation. So definitely not a good spread, but not as big as I thought it was. It is cold out here. So again, if you want to blame it on that, I feel like that was a little bit all over the place though to be blaming the cold weather, but it is what it is. We did actually see a high of 1051, and I believe we saw, I know, 1 more, and I think maybe 2 more over that 1040 mark. But that really doesn't give me very high hope for the little Bodyguard. Let's get it reset and see what it does. All right, let's see what happens when we take away 1 inch of barrel. I got a feeling all of these are going to be sub 1000. I'll be surprised if they're not. It's definitely snappier out of this. 974, 969, 948, 911, And 953, so all of them sub 1,000. Seem like they're a little more consistent right here though. Let's check the average out. No, I was wrong right there. Actually, that 911 low right there made this spread a little bit bigger than what we saw with the EZ. So this time our average was 951 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 63 with a 24.9 standard deviation. Again, I think they were all pretty decent. We had a high of 974 and then that low was 911. So I think that low is what messed up the extreme spread right there. So 951 here, and if you remember out that EZ, it was 1,028. So you talking about what, 77 feet per second difference right there. I mean, that's a pretty decent difference. That's not quite 10%, but that's creeping up on 10%. As far as what that's gonna mean in the gel, I just don't know. I think both of these are right on the edge of not really giving us good performance. I think that Bodyguard really is gonna struggle, even though this is a Gold Dot, but I do hope I'm wrong here. Let's get it all reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Speer needs to spice it up, jelly time. I'm gonna put one through each barrel length into the gel, starting with the long one first, actually, this time. I usually go with the short one first, but I think I'm gonna start going with the long one. That way, we can kind of pretty much guess what's gonna happen based on what happens here. Let's see what it does. All right, that was perfectly placed. Let me go see what I got. All right, I'm actually kind of surprised by that one right there. It got about the penetration that I figured, but I really didn't think it was going to get much expansion, and it looks like it expanded fairly well down there. Doesn't look like anything massive though, but I do have a little bit higher hopes for this Bodyguard now with the shorter barrel. Well, let's see what it does. All right, absolutely perfect again. That one definitely went further. Let's go check these out. All right, let's check out what we got down here with this stuff. Not really a big surprise here. We got 50-50 success on this one. Probably most people could have figured that based on the velocity. So on the top here, that was the one from the EZ. As you can see, it comes in immediate expansion, no doubt about it. Really, really nice energy transfer, nice disruption on through its travel here. It looks like it goes about 3/4 of the way through this block here. So it may be right at 12 inches. And again, it looks like you got plenty of expansion for what this is. And then down below it, pretty much what I was afraid of with this Bodyguard 2.0. It comes in here straight line performance, absolutely no doubt about it, no tumbling or anything. So straight line all the way through the first block. It goes into this second block probably about 2 inches to 2.5 inches. And from what I can see, just looking at it outside the gel, I don't see any kind of attempt at expansion from it. But let's get our penetration measurements. We'll start on top with the EZ. That one is actually right at 11.5, just barely hitting 11.5 with a little bit of forward momentum. So a little bit shorter than what I thought and a little bit shorter than what I personally like to see. The on the other hand is out here to exactly 18 inches. So that's really, really nice penetration in my opinion. The problem is you didn't get any expansion from a round that's supposed to be expanding. And here's your close-up look. Again, EZ on the top, Bodyguard on the bottom. Big, big difference right there. You can just see one of them expanded and one of them didn't. That's what you get when that happens. There you can see the projectile from the EZ drop back down to the Bodyguard. There you can see that one. From the top, pretty much the same thing. I got to kind of get you that at an angle, but you can see really nice disruption there from the one out of the EZ. And again, the Bodyguard, just total straight line. All right, let's take a look at these projectiles. Definitely a big, big difference right here. And you can see we got that bowl of coleslaw with this one right here from the Bodyguard 2.0 again. This one from the EZ, really nice looking. Check that out. Really nice uniform expansion right there. Now, it looks like you still had a little bit more you could have got out of this, but for a 380, that's absolutely perfect expansion if you ask me. The Bodyguard here just wasn't moving fast enough. That's all there is to it. This thing just pushed a little bit faster. I would say would have a vastly different result. Well, there's no doubt about it because you see it right here, pushed a little bit faster, big time different results. And that again, you know, I'm not going to get on a 380 rant again, but that right there just shows what I'm always talking about. As nice as this little Bodyguard 2.0 is, and I think it's a nice little tool, it just still handicaps you as far as performance with this 380 round. But let's get a few measurements and see what we got there. I don't think they lost anything. Even this one right here, maybe a few crumbs. They started at 90. That one's at 89.7, so may have lost a crumb or two, could just be manufacturing tolerances. I'm gonna pull this cloth and stuff out of this one. You can see it again. A little bit of flaring maybe, but not much of anything at all. And then that one right there is 90.0 grains, right on the money right there. And then as far as the sizes, we'll just have to do the good old base and length on this one here. You got 353 with a length of 435. And then this expanded one from the EZ, you got 481 and 482. So really nice even expansion from that 380 round. And there you go, y'all, the Speer Gold Dot in 380 ACP through the EZ and the Bodyguard 2.0. Really no surprise here after seeing those velocities. Sub 1,000 just is not cutting it. I mean, you can see it right here. It's just not cutting it. The EZ, on the other hand, it did exactly what it claimed. So I guess you really have to give this stuff credit for doing what it claims to do, because it pretty much got the velocity it was claiming out of the barrel length that it was claiming. A little short on a couple of the rounds, but for whatever reason, just spread wise. So yeah, you have to say it did meet what it said it was going to do. But again, that's always why I'm so critical of them using longer barrel lengths, because 3.75 inch, let's just be realistic here. Most people who are carrying a 380 round aren't carrying something with a barrel that long. They're carrying something more along the lines of this Bodyguard 2.0. So I really just wish manufacturers would tailor their rounds, at least their defensive EDC type rounds, towards barrel lengths that are realistic for what people are carrying today, because they're just not doing it. And you know, I think the EZ is a far better tool than that Bodyguard. Even though I think that Bodyguard's a nice little tool, that EZ is far better, but it's just too big for most people that are wanting a 380 to EDC. It's just too big. And the Bodyguard, again, as nice of a tool as it is, it was snappy. That thing is snappy. I'm gonna tell you right now, people are doing like their wives, their, you know, anybody, not just a female, anybody that they're recommending that little snappy 380 to, if it's somebody who can't really handle tools and just not real familiar with them, you're doing them a great injustice. You really are. I don't know if you realize that, but you're doing them a huge injustice, because I can tell you right now, believe it or not, this right here, running this out here in the cold, it hurts my fingers. It stings my fingers more than running my 10 mil Glock 29 does, y'all. And that's no exaggeration at all. But I said I wasn't going to get on another 380 rant, but it really, every time I see somebody recommend something like these little pocket 380s to somebody who is new to firearms, it just tears me up. I want to say something too bad, but then I just, you know, it's none of my business. Let them do what they're going to do. But anyway, as far as this round right here is concerned, me personally, I don't think it's worth it if you're running a pocket size tool like this. I mean, you're just as good off with FMJ. I say it every single time. You're probably going to get at least as much velocity from it. You're going to get the same kind of performance in the gel. You're basically going to get the same kind of penetration, and you're probably going to do it for less cost. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for a pretty interesting first test to start today. Like I say, I guess technically you have to give this stuff credit for doing what it claimed to do. It basically met that velocity. It fell below it for a couple of rounds, but you know, the extreme spread, margin of error, cold weather, blah, blah, blah here. So technically it did what it claimed to do out of the barrel length that it claimed to do it in. But like I always used to say, I just quit talking about this whole short barrel 380 thing. I used to talk about it almost every single 380 video I did, but I just felt like I was a broken record, and there's really no convincing people otherwise who get it in their mind that they are carrying these little old tiny pocket 380s. It's good enough in their mind. They want to be able to put it in a pair of pajamas or something or whatever and walk out the house with it. So there's no convincing them, but you can see it on every single test where I use a longer barrel with these little pocket tools. There is a big, big difference in performance. Now, that being said, I put some blame on the manufacturers too for using just unrealistic test barrel lengths. This isn't nearly as bad as some stuff I've seen, but 3.75 inch, that's the size of that EZ. And all I ever hear when I talk about how nice that EZ is it's too big for a 380. It's too big to stick it in my pocket. So you're not going to convince people otherwise. So I really wish manufacturers would use the barrel lengths to test this stuff that people are really using these days. But I can stand out here and rant and ramble about this stuff all day. So y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. What do you think about the performance from this stuff out here today? Those of y'all who do carry these Gold Dots in 380, what do you think from the short barrel? If you're carrying in a short barrel, are you still just fine with what you saw out here today? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you reach down and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so hopefully you get notified when I upload new stuff. Take a second, like I always remind you, and check out those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you pick up after checking those links out helps out the channel, so I really appreciate that. Big thanks again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. Got a couple more really interesting tests planned, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.